Hi, I'm Harriet Tubman, and I was born into slavery. As a young child, I was hired out to be my owner's nursemaid for their baby. I had to stay awake all night to make sure the baby didn't cry and wake the mother, and if I fell asleep on the job, I would get whipped by the baby's mother. In early childhood, I was determined to escape from freedom like most slaves were, but as you can imagine, there were many obstacles in my way. We weren't allowed to leave the plantation unless we were trusted and told to, and if we left without permission, we would get punished terribly. There was one time where a slave went to the store without permission, and when he returned, I was told to help with his punishment, but I refused. When the man tried to escape, the overseer picked up a stone and tried to hit the man, but missed and hit me instead, which ended in a scar on my head and occasional seizures for the rest of my life. After a lifetime of slavery, I decided to escape from Maryland to Philadelphia, but I felt as if I couldn't do it alone, so I brought two of my brothers, Harry and Ben. During our escape, there was a $300 reward set out for my brothers and I. Harry and Ben had second thoughts after that and returned to the plantation, but I wasn't going to give up, so I set off for Philadelphia. When I made it, it was like heaven. The sun shined through the trees like gold and everything was brighter. But instead of staying there, safe in the north, I set out again to bring my family and others there to see the beautiful freedom I saw. A free black man named John Bowley made a winning bid for his wife, my niece, and so I took them back to the north using the Underground Railroad, and that was the first of many trips to save the slaves. Over time, I guided my parents, my siblings, and 60 others to freedom. I helped many escape to freedom, but the ways of escaping slavery changed in 1850 when the Fugitive Slave Acts were passed, indicating that escaped slaves could be captured and brought back to slavery. In response to the act, I rerouted the Underground Railroads to Canada, which did not allow slavery. I quickly got the nickname Moses for my leadership characteristics. I continued to do work throughout the Civil War, working for the Union Army as a cook and a nurse. I then became an armed scout and spy. I was the first woman to lead an armed expedition in the war. I guided the Combahee River Raid, which liberated more than 700 slaves in South Carolina. You probably most famously know me as Harriet Tubman, but my birth name was Arminta Ross. But I changed my name to Harriet after my mother, and married a free black man named John Tubman before I escaped. He preferred to stay behind in Maryland, marrying a new wife. In 1869, I married a man named Nelson Davis and adopted a little girl named Gertie. My family and I, along with more people, lived in a small piece of land on the outskirts of Auburn, New York. I spent the years after the war tending to the people living there. In 1903, I donated a portion of my land to the African Methodist Episcopal Church in Auburn, and the Harriet Tubman Home for Aged opened on this site in 1908. As I aged, the brain problems and the pain in my head got worse. I underwent brain surgery and was eventually admitted into the rest home named in my honor, and was surrounded by the ones who loved me most, my friends and family.